The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out in 2033. That's based on the 2024 Trustees Report. And they tell us that they can pay 100% of benefits until 2033. And then when the trust fund runs out, they can pay 79% of benefits going forward. Now, that would be a pretty big cut. And obviously, nobody wants to see that happen. And I don't think that the lawmakers will let that happen, because that will be political suicide. So as we get closer to that date, when the trust fund is slated to run out, there'll be more conversations about what can be done to fix it. It's not going to be fixed way ahead of time. When it was about to run out in 1985, they actually implemented new law in 1984. So there's time for them to come back and implement new law between now and 2033. What could be done? I want to talk about some of the things that they might consider doing and how that could impact you. One would be to raise the full retirement age. Now, if you're already retired, your full retirement age has already been set. But for people that aren't retired, that full retirement age could be phased out over an even longer period of time, which is what we saw in 1984 when they changed from the full retirement age of 65 for everybody and actually phased it out so that now some people have an age 67 full retirement age. If they do that, that will mean that to take benefits early will result in a bigger reduction. You're taking it more years early if you have a full retirement age of, say, 68, 69, or 70, and you want to start at age 62. It would be a much bigger reduction. Right now, if you have a full retirement age of 66, you would get a 25% reduction. A full retirement age of 67 would get a 30% reduction to start at age 62. So that would be one of the biggest impact, which would mean people may need to work longer to have that minimum monthly amount of income that they want to have. Now, another thing that could be done is they could raise taxes. And there's been a lot of talk about this. If they raise taxes, it's not going to change benefits. The benefits would be the same. It would just be more money coming into the system to cover those benefits that have been promised. Now, this would impact people that are still working, obviously, much more than people that are retired. So if you're working and Social Security taxes are increased, you're going to have less money to spend. They could do this in a couple of ways. One would be just to increase the percentage that everyone pays. That would impact everybody. The other would be to increase the wage limit. Right now, Social Security benefits are taxed up to $168,600. So anybody earning more than that is not paying Social Security tax on those higher amounts above $168,600. One way that they can increase the taxes in the system is to increase how much of everyone's wages are taxed. And that would create a bigger impact on the higher earners versus if they raise the percentage, impacting everybody, but more so the lower wage earners that would have that higher percentage on all of their earnings. Now, another thing that could be done is they can change the formula. And I've heard a lot of talk about this over the last 10, 15 years, sitting in with some of the think tank groups that are involved in the changes to Social Security and the talk about changes to Social Security. This has been a topic of conversation for a very long time. The problem is it's hard to get everybody to agree on what would be the right change to make. But in those conversations, it's typically been said that a formula change would apply to people, say, under age 50 or under age 55, where they're not already nearly at retirement and don't have very much time to adjust to this change in their future reality. So hopefully that would be true. But a change in benefits would likely reduce benefits for people that are earning more and hopefully leave benefits for people earning less the same. It could even increase it for that group of people. We don't know what the formula change would be. Another option would be to change the cost of living adjustment, because that can get fairly expensive over time. The cost of living adjustment increases the Social Security benefits by CPIW. That is the CPI for urban wage earners. There has been talk about switching to a different CPI. Now, there is a CPI for retirees that would actually make that cost of living adjustment a bit higher. But there is also a CPI that is a chained CPI that would reduce the amount of COLA on an annual basis, and over time that would be less of an increase. That would impact everybody because your benefits would not keep up with inflation, even more so than now. And there's been studies done that show that benefits have increased, say, by 2%, whereas inflation has averaged 3% for retirees. That was for the time period 2000 to 2018. And so benefits were not keeping up with cost of living over that period of time, and certainly aren't expected to keep up with cost of living going forward. And if they make this kind of a reduction, even less so. What does that mean for you? It means you've got to have plans in place to cover your inflation over your lifetime, over and above what little bit of help Social Security increases will give you. Because we're living longer, and the longer we live, the bigger an impact inflation has. It's one of the biggest risks to our long-term retirement security. And so you need to have a plan for that. And then the last thing that they might do that I'm going to talk about today is implement means testing. They've done this with Medicare. We now have this Medicare IRMA where if your income is higher, you're paying more for your Medicare. They could implement means testing for Social Security where if your income is higher, you're getting less Social Security benefits. This would impact people that are higher wage earners much more than those that are lower wage earners. But in anything like this, the people that really get hit the most are those that are right at that change, right at that limit where they don't have a lot of extra income, but yet they're over that bracket to get the impact in the reduction in Social Security. It would be a much bigger cost to them because they would feel it much more to be a bigger percentage of a reduction in their overall income. And so everybody needs to be thinking about, what can I do to ensure that I have the income that I need long term, no matter what might happen to Social Security? We don't know how they're going to change it. We don't know how they're going to fix it. There will be a fix and they will continue it. That's just not, in my opinion, they're not going to stop Social Security. But what the changes will be is yet to be seen. And so you've got to have a plan and know how you can take care of yourself, no matter how much of a change there might be. If that's you only get 79% of the benefit, or you get all the benefit with less cost of living adjustment, or you have some kind of means test applied and you get a reduction because you have other income. You need to know what you're going to do no matter what might come in the future. So that's a really good reason to run some plans, do some stress testing, look at different options, and think about how you can be in control of your retirement all the way through your retirement and ensure that you're on your best path. So if you have any questions or if I can help answer anything around that, feel free to shoot me an email. I answer all of those directly myself, and I look forward to talking to you next time.